I'm going to take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
Things are not looking good for Diddy right now. A wave of videos is suddenly popping up online, and they don't look random at all. These clips feel like they've been sitting in the shadows for a long time, just waiting to surface. And yes, that famous matte black private jet he used to show off on Instagram and TikTok is gone. Sold. And let's be real, this feels like the start of something much bigger. I know exactly why you clicked on this video, and you're in the right place. I'm about to break down every viral tape that's been making noise online. We're talking awkward karaoke moments, party footage that raise eyebrows, leaked audio that has people whispering, and more. But here's what really matters. This isn't just about clips floating around the internet. We're also going to look at why he sold that private jet and what that move actually says about where he stands right now. By the end of this video, the full picture around Diddy should be clear. So stick around, because before we get into the tapes, you need to understand the background. Without that context, none of this will make sense. And so here's what really happened. I'm not going to run through every detail of what he did or list out his sentence because most people already know that part. What matters is where things stand right now. Sean Diddy Combs is currently locked up at Fort Dix prison, and this whole situation traces back to March 2024 when federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Just imagine waking up to agents combing through every room of your house. That alone is crazy. But it didn't stop there. Multiple lawsuits were filed by alleged victims, and here's the part most people overlook. If he had been convicted on the top charges, the Southern District of New York was prepared to take everything. His money, his properties, his cars, everything tied to his name could have been seized. No safety net at all. That's exactly why selling off assets right now makes sense. He needs cash, plain and simple. Fighting this many legal battles isn't cheap, and when lawyers are billing nonstop, the money disappears fast. And now that the background is clear, we can finally get into the tapes. Some of what's coming is uncomfortable to hear, so brace yourself. First up, we need to talk about Aubrey O'Day. She worked closely with Diddy and knows him personally.
What do you think that Diddy's downfall means for the music industry and for men like him? Do you think this will help create some type of change?
We haven't seen a downfall yet. We're just saying...
The trial was very public, and the details were pretty disturbing.
They weren't disturbing enough to get a few stupid people in a jury to understand it. So, wasn't that effective? Wasn't that much of a downfall.
She recently appeared on a podcast and dropped a statement that instantly turned heads. She described Diddy's trial as almost feeling like a jail sentence. But here's the part that really stood out. She said it's not even 1% of the justice that the victims deserve. Not even 1%. Let that sink in for a moment. She went on to say the system still works to protect certain people, and she made it clear she wasn't only talking about Sean Diddy Combs. She was pointing at a bigger circle of powerful individuals, saying some have done things far worse than what's even being alleged here. That matters because it shows this story doesn't stop with one name. It points to a whole system that shields influence and money, and that idea alone is unsettling. And now we get to the part that made a lot of people uncomfortable. A viral video started circulating that tackled a much bigger issue head-on, and it didn't hold back. The video didn't just mention Diddy. It brought up major names like Tupac Shakur, the Notorious B.I.G., Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Chris Brown, while asking a hard question about accountability in the industry. One line hit especially hard: consent can be revoked. Just because someone agreed at first doesn't mean they can't change their mind. The video asked what we're going to do differently now and whether fans will keep supporting artists blindly or finally start demanding accountability. Look, I'm not here to tell anyone how to think or what choices to make, but this conversation needs to happen because way too many people are pretending none of this is real. And that silence, that's part of the problem. Now, here's where things start getting messy. People who work for Diddy are saying they haven't been paid since he went to prison. His spokesperson quickly denied it, claiming everyone is still getting paid and no one has quit. Sounds clean on the surface, but people close to the situation are telling a different story, saying some staff walked away because their checks stopped coming. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Apparently, a company called TriStar Sports and Entertainment is now handling Diddy's money while he's locked up. They run everything through strict approval rules, which means even simple payments can take forever to clear. And it's not just employees feeling the pressure. His own family is dealing with it too. His mom, Janice Combs, and his kids are reportedly struggling to access money for basic needs. Imagine going from private jets and luxury shopping to being told your own cash is on hold. That's a wild change. Now, don't get it twisted, I'm not feeling sorry for anyone after everything that's come out. But it does show how fast life can flip when the power disappears. And now, we're stepping into the most shocking part yet. The New York Post claims they have footage from Diddy's private parties and were even able to trace when they happened. That's where this story takes an even darker turn. These videos reportedly come from 2004 and 2005, mostly around VMA after parties and Super Bowl weekends. Here's what was uncovered. After the 2005 VMAs, Diddy hosted a big after-party with well-known celebrities like Eva Longoria, Paris Hilton, Ice-T, and Quincy Jones. It looked like a normal Hollywood event at first, but once the main guests left, the whole vibe changed. According to the report, younger men and women showed up, and many were dressed in ways that raised eyebrows. The scene turned much more private, and some people were seen engaging in questionable behavior. One woman even appeared to have a white substance under her nose, which caused a lot of speculation. The outlet confirmed the timing by matching Diddy's white t-shirt from the footage to photos from that same VMA night. The shirt had the words, "God is the greatest," printed on it, making it easy to identify. Then there's footage from Super Bowl weekend in February 2005. Diddy threw a high-end gala with stars like Ashton Kutcher, Ashley Simpson, and Joe Francis from Girls Gone Wild. Hours later, the party reportedly moved to a mansion Diddy was renting for $20,000 a week. That alone sounds wild. From that night, the video shows two men together while people laugh in the background. What shocked viewers most is that it appears Diddy was filming everything himself, like the camera was in his hands during the moment. A federal law enforcement source later said the behavior in these clips lines up with what they've already reviewed. Now, the main question is whether everything that happened was truly consensual or not. So the big question becomes this: were these people there by choice, or was there pressure involved? That's what makes all of this so disturbing, and somehow it gets even deeper. Remember when I mentioned tapes being sold behind the scenes? A lawyer representing one of Diddy's alleged victims revealed something that stopped a lot of people cold. She said someone actually reached out to her, trying to sell a video that allegedly includes Sean Diddy Combs and another high-profile celebrity. According to her, she saw the video herself.
Yes, there already have been tape leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill.
And here's the part that raised serious eyebrows. She claimed the other person in the footage is even more famous than Diddy. Bigger name, bigger profile, and clearly identifiable. No guessing involved. And this wasn't described as a one-off situation. She explained that multiple tapes are quietly being shopped around Hollywood right now. This kind of move is known as catch and release, where someone demands payment to keep footage private. That's straight up blackmail, and it's allegedly happening to more than one celebrity. Imagine getting a call like that, knowing someone claims they have footage that could destroy your reputation. That kind of pressure would shake anyone. And yes, people online are already debating responsibility, but the bigger issue is how widespread this practice might be. Then there's another clip making rounds. A karaoke video featuring Diddy and Meek Mill has resurfaced, and a lot of viewers found it uncomfortable to watch. In the clip, Meek Mill says something that caught people off guard, and you can see Diddy turn around looking genuinely surprised, like he didn't expect that comment at all. For many viewers, this immediately brought back memories of that alleged leaked audio from last year. You know, the one people still whisper about.
We had a recording of Meek and Diddy.
Making love?
Ew. I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it.
Remember that audio clip involving Meek Mill and Diddy that went viral? That didn't just come out of thin air. It was tied to a 70-page lawsuit filed by a producer named Rodney Jones, who people know as Little Rod. In that filing, there's mention of a rapper from Philadelphia whose name was redacted. But here's the thing. In the footnotes, they basically spelled it out. A Philly rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. It didn't take long for people to connect the dots and point straight to Meek Mill. The lawsuit alleges inappropriate behavior between the two, and once that information hit the public, a lot of people started looking at Meek Mill differently. Even his song Dreams and Nightmares feels different to some listeners now. I'm not saying any of this is proven, but when something like that shows up in an official legal document, it makes people pause and start asking questions. Then things got even stranger. TMZ released new footage of Sean Diddy Combs at Fort Dix prison, And what stood out was his expression. He was smiling.
Is the first videos of Diddy in prison at Fort Dix. I mean, how do they keep getting this stuff? And how much are they paying these other inmates to send them videos of Diddy? This is wild. Apparently, Diddy was working. Diddy helps give movies and religious materials to other inmates.
Think about that. He's facing serious charges, multiple lawsuits, and his public image is in shambles, yet he looks calm, almost cheerful. Some people think he's just putting on a front for the cameras. Others believe he might know something the public doesn't. Either way, it feels off, and it gets deeper. There's an old clip of Diddy at an awards show where he practically told everyone what time it was.
I'm going to take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
He looked straight ahead and said, "We have the power." That line hits very differently now. We decide what's hot. We control everything. When Sean Diddy Combs said that back then, most people brushed it off as confidence or industry talk. But looking at it now, that speech hits very differently. It almost feels like he was laying everything out in plain sight and nobody wanted to read between the lines. And that's where it gets unsettling. How much power did certain people really have and what were they doing with it? There's footage that recently resurfaced showing Diddy with some of his celebrity friends, and the energy is off in a way that's hard to ignore.
Just being able to be here this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
The clip starts with a prayer, which seems normal enough. But as it goes on, his interactions feel strange. The body language looks tense, the room feels awkward, and the vibe just isn't right. People in the comments started pointing out details that didn't even stand out at first glance. I'm not going to spell out exactly what to look for, because it's better if you watch it yourself and see what catches your eye. Just know this, a lot of viewers walked away feeling uncomfortable. Then there's another clip that's even harder to watch. It shows a white man passed out at one of Diddy's parties. Diddy walks up to the camera and says, "For all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man." He points at the man lying there, not moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, for all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look, what you
There's a drink on his head.
And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is an actual DJ's not supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to him. I put him to sleep.
Next day, right?
You put the drink on his head.
There you go. There it is.
Someone places a drink on the man's head like it's a joke. Diddy then says the man is named James from Simeon Mobile Disco and that he's a DJ. He adds, "DJs aren't supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them. I put him to sleep." So here's the real question. What exactly are we supposed to take from moments like this? What does "I put him to sleep" even mean? Because with everything we know now, that line sounds a lot darker than it did back then. What actually happened to make that man pass out like that? This clip throws up serious red flags, and the fact that Diddy thought it was funny enough to film and joke about says a lot about his mindset. There's also another video people are revisiting, this one involving Ashton Kutcher. In the clip, he's standing alongside Sean Diddy Combs at a charity event, raising money for mosquito bed nets in Africa. Ashton talks about being from Venice Beach. They thank Starbucks for sponsoring the event, and on the surface, everything looks positive and clean. But knowing what's been said about Diddy's private parties, people are watching this clip with new eyes. It makes you wonder, did Ashton really know what was happening behind the scenes, or was he just there for the charity and left before anything questionable went down? There's no proof he knew about anything bad, and it's important not to accuse without facts. Still, it raises questions about who knew what and when they knew it. Now this is where the story turns much more serious. A woman named Adria Sherry English came forward with her account, and it's genuinely hard to hear. She said she was hired in the early 2000s to work as a go-go dancer at Diddy's private white parties. At first, everything felt like a dream. She said Diddy came off charming and welcoming, and she felt special because the invitations kept coming. In her mind, this looked like her big chance to break into the entertainment world. But after the second or third party, the tone shifted, and things stopped feeling normal. She explained that she was asked to do more than just dance. She was told to entertain specific guests, walk people to private rooms, and guide them into restricted areas of the house. Then she dropped the part that made everything darker. She said, "I believe I was drugged." She described drinking from certain champagne bottles and then blacking out while still appearing awake. She compared it to being a zombie, present but not really there. She said she was pressured to perform sexual acts with guests, and because many of them were rich and well-connected, she believed it would help her career. She thought this was the path to a record deal. Looking back, she admits she was naive and too trusting. She estimates she was involved with over 20 people across the parties she attended. That number alone is hard to process. What makes it even worse is what she said next. After the raids on Diddy's homes, she learned tapes were allegedly found, and she fears she may be on them. That means the number of people involved could be even higher. She later filed a lawsuit alleging coercion, trafficking, and forced labor. At the time, she says no one believed her, so she tried to cope by drinking and staying silent to avoid bringing shame to her family. At the end of her interview, she said something that stuck. "Everybody's not lying. What if people are telling the truth?" That line hits hard. She thought she was chasing a dream, but instead she went through something traumatic, and she may not be the only one. Now let's talk about that private jet, because this part matters. Back in October 2025, Sean Diddy Combs sold his famous matte black private jet, and honestly, he was lucky anyone even wanted it. When celebrities get wrapped up in serious legal trouble, their assets suddenly feel untouchable. Nobody wants to be associated with something that might come with problems. You're seeing a similar situation play out with Alec Baldwin, who's reportedly had trouble moving property after the Russ situation. Here's why the timing of that sale is important. If Diddy had been convicted on the higher charges, the Southern District of New York was prepared to seize everything tied to him. His money, homes, cars, and properties would have been fair game. We've seen this before. Look at Young Thug, whose assets were taken when he was locked up, then later returned. In Diddy's case, there was no guarantee he'd ever get anything back. So what was this jet actually worth? It was a Gulfstream G550 built in 2015, featuring a matte black exterior and beige interior. It seats up to 14 passengers, is pet-friendly, and similar models sell for anywhere between $15 million and $30 million. That's a wild amount of money for a single plane. He sold it through his company, Love Air LLC. The jet's tail number is no longer registered under that name and now appears registered in San Marino. Why sell it at all? Simple. Legal battles are expensive. Civil lawsuits and lawyers burn cash fast. And when you're fighting on multiple fronts, you liquidate whatever you can. And that leads us to the next big twist. On January 1st, 2026, just days ago, a new law quietly went into effect in California. It's called the California Justice for Survivors Act, and this law changes a lot. It opens a 2-year window that allows victims to file lawsuits even if the statute of limitations already expired. That means cases that were once considered too old are suddenly back on the table. And it's not limited to just the person who caused the harm. Under this law, victims can also go after companies that helped, enabled, or covered things up. That includes record labels, management teams, and any organization that knew what was happening and stayed silent. If someone looked the other way, they can now be held accountable. That's huge. We already saw something similar happen in New York, and once that window opened, hundreds of lawsuits were filed. Now, California has followed suit, and let's be real, a lot of people in Hollywood are probably nervous right now. This law doesn't just reopen old wounds, it reopens old secrets. So let me ask you this, what part of this story hit you the hardest? Was it the go-go dancers account, the leaked party tapes, or that disturbing video of the man passed out at the party? And here's the bigger question, do you think more celebrities are going to be exposed next? Because based on everything that's come out so far, it really doesn't feel like Diddy was the only one involved. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I actually read them, so say what's on your mind.